Greetings and thanks everyone. I'm Nilavro, your host at this time. International Mother Language Day is a day for celebrating multilingualism, cross-cultural tolerance, and cultural diversity. We are proud of the beauty of our own respective mother language.
Thank you. Especially I want to thank those who came to today's noon event. We basically had a replica of Shohid Minar, which you can see here on the display in the Commons Main Street. We also had 3 banners, which you will see at the top of the pool tables, which you can see when you are going out. So that 3 banners, I want to say those 3 were super great. They had one was you write a wish to a stranger, one was love and peace, and one was like a language, you write the language in that name. So basically, if you add a new language, that would give you a t-shirt. So that was a cool t-shirt. So we'll start the proceedings. We'll start with the iconic song. And you'll see the paper you get. That song is that one special song. It's a chorus song. It's an iconic song for International Mother Language Day. Let's welcome our team. Thank you.
Narration of the history of this special day, which we are sad and proud of at the same time. Let's now welcome Blaine.
Good evening, everyone. I'll be giving you a brief history behind the International Mother Language Day. When the British left India subcontinent in 1947, they divided the country into 2 parts. the western and the eastern parts became Pakistan, while the middle part became India. Pakistan's western and eastern wings were very different in their culture and languages. The only tie was their common religion. After independence, most of the leaders of Pakistan were from West Pakistan, and many of them wanted to make Urdu the only language of Pakistan. However, the Bengalis from the East Pakistan were the majority, 56% of the population. Urdu was quite unknown to them, and Bengalis wanted equal status of their mother language, Bengali language. Initially, there were hopes that both Urdu and Bengali will have equal status, but in 1952, the government finally declared Urdu to be the only national language. This meant that Bengalis would not be able to use their own language for official purposes, documents, jobs, etc. There was a spontaneous movement against it. Students, teachers, poets, politicians got united to protest against the government. On 21st of February, the government declared a ban on any processions or protests in Dhaka, the capital of East Pakistan. Bengali students started a peaceful procession in support of Bengali language. Near Dhaka Medical College campus, Pakistan police forced fire upon the protesters and killed a large number of students, including Salam, Warbat, Rafiq, Jabbar, and Shofir. The protests went on and became a nationwide movement. Finally, the government of Pakistan gave equal status to Bengali language as the national language of the country. The national movement caused Bengalis to unite, and later this led to the liberation war of Bangladesh as an independent nation in 1971. To commemorate the sacrifice of the language activists, a monument named Shahid Minar, or the Language Martyrs Monument, was built on the site of the massacre. The Pakistan police initially demolished the structure, but it was rebuilt. Every year, Bengalis commemorate this event with a renewed pledge of love for the language. A month-long book fair is organized near the monument, and the day is a national holiday. In recognition to the Bengali language movement of 21st February, the United Nations declared it as an International Mother Language Day. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Blaise. And I want to take this opportunity to thank our architect team who worked very hard for building up this small replica of Shahid Minar, which the three you already know now. So give them a round of applause. Thank you. So now we'll start our songs and poetry. So now we have rap song from Gurpreet Singh. He will do it. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Gurpreet. I'm from Punjab, India, and this song is Brown Rang. Brown is color, and Rang means also color in Punjabi. So means this song is combination of around 3 languages, Hindi, Punjabi and English. So, okay. कुड़िए नी तेरे brown रंग ने मुंडे पट तेरे सारे मेरे टाउन दे कोई कमी उत्ते जावे ना रोटी पानी खावे ना गोरे गोरे कुड़ियां कोई मुंह लावे ना कमी उत्ते जावे ना रोटी पानी खावे ना गोरे गोरे कुड़ियां कोई मुंह लावे कुड़िए नी तेरे brown रंग ने मुंडे पट तेरे सारे मेरे टाउन दे मेरे टाउन दे मेरे टाउन दे मेरे टाउन देने बिल्लो मेरे टाउन दे मेरे टाउन दे मेरे टाउन दे एक्सक्यूज मी मिस किस 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 से तू भागेगी हुण बच बच के तेनू रब ने हुसन दिता रज रज के मैं कह काली तेरी कुची ते पराठा तेरा लाल कित्थे चली सोहणियो सज तज के तेरे वर्गी ना नहीं होनी मैनू मुंडे कहंदे सी हो गए नहीं तेरे चर्चे साल में तो BBC और ब्राउन ब्राउन स्किल वाली लेट मी टेल यू वन थिंग रब दी सो यूसुफ सेट सी कुड़िए नी तेरे ब्राउन रंग ने मुंडे पट तेरी सारे मेरे टाउन दे ਮੇਰੇ ਟਾਉਨ ਦੇ ਨੀ ਬਿੱਲੋ ਮੇਰੇ ਟਾਉਨ ਦੇ ਉਰੇ ਆ ਤੈਨੂੰ ਇੱਕ ਗੱਲ ਸਮਝਾਵਾਂ ਮਾੜੇ ਪੁਰਜੇ ਨੂੰ ਕਦੀ ਹੱਥ ਮੈਂ ਨਾ ਪਾਵਾਂ ਹਾਂ ਵੈਸੇ ਤਾਂ ਮਿੱਤਰਾਂ ਦਾ ਬਹੁਤ ਵੱਡਾ ਸਕੋਪ ਬਣ ਮਿੱਤਰਾਂ ਦੀ ਹੋ ਆਵਣ ਮਿੱਤਰਾਂ ਦੀ ਹੋ ਤੂੰ ਮਿੱਟੀ ਡਟੇ ਤੱਕ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਆਨੋ ਨਾ ਡਾਂਸੇ ਨੋ ਮੈਂ ਤਾਂ ਤੇਰਾ ਯੋ ਤੂੰ ਹਾਂ ਤਾਂ ਕਰ ਸਾਂਭਲੂ ਮੈਂ ਤੇਰਾ ਪਿਓ ਓਏ
Thanks, Gurpreet. That was quite special. Now that we have heard 2 songs in a row, we have got Aptahi with his own poetry. I heard that he wrote this poem especially for this event. So let's welcome Aptahi.
Hi, this is actually written in 2012, but let's say I wrote this for this event. So this is basically in Bangla. So I'll say a little bit about this poem. I wrote this poem for thinking of 3 people, 3 girls who were very in my life. One was my mother, one was my grandmother, and there was a girl I fell in love with. So this is basically a song, kind of a sad thing, but still it was good. Okay, here it goes. Sorry, it's in Bangla. I couldn't have the time to translate it. So yeah. ডাকতো অল্প ছিল স্বার্থ তবু সে একাই দেখে রাখতো চা লাগবে নখ কাটবি চালটা বেশি শক্ত ভাত মাখিয়ে খাইয়ে দেই পাশে এসে বসতো পাশে গিয়ে বসতাম গালে গাল ঘষতাম আদর করে কত নামে ভালোবেসে রাখতাম সেই আমি দিতাম কষ্ট সে চুপটি করে শুনতো আর আমায় ধরে কাঁদতো মুখটা তার লাল হয়ে মাঝে মাঝে থাকতো শরীর ভিতর কখন এসে কি যে বাসা বাঁধলো একলা বসে থাকতো হয়তো খানিক কাঁদতো নড়াচড়া মানা ছিল খালি আমায় ডাকতো ব্যস্ত ছিলাম কাজে ছিলাম এত কেন ডাকছো হঠাৎ হঠাৎ ভাবনা হতো মরলে সবাই বাঁচত সেই যে সে যার অল্প ছিল সাধ্য তবু একাই দেখে রাখতো ওপাশ দিয়ে চলতে গেলে অল্প স্বরে ডাকতো শুনতে পেতাম ভুলেও যেতাম সবই সে বুঝতো ভালোবেসে সবু আমায় এত গানে ডাকতো মধ্যরাতের অন্ধতারা সেই ঘরেতে বসে আছি যেই ঘরে সে থাকতো সেই বিছানা সেই মশারি বালিশটা খুব শক্ত ঘুম আসে না অন্ধরাতের গভীর ক্ষতে কি বলতে কি বলেছি বুঝি না রে অর্থ ঘুম আসে না কোথায় গেলি বুঝিনি রে ভালোবেসে ডেকেছিলি এত থ্যাংক ইউ
Wonderful. I hope you are translating that. That was really nice. Let's go to a different side of the world and welcome Ali with his Persian song. Next up.
Hello, everybody. As also I wish I could translate the poem for you, but this is a love melody, which was very welcome about maybe 30 years ago in Iran, and this song is actually called Spinnier. I wish I could play flying voiceover of this pre-recorded song. تن من میتونه بدون تو زنده باشه. ای که توی همه کسم بی تو میگیره نفسم، اگه تو رو داشته باشم به هرچی میخوام میرسم، به هرچی میخوام میرسم.
We're loving it.
But anyway, so it's just a friendly. It was just a kind of feeling of how Persian melody looks like. Taffy told me that I have about 7 minutes, so I rescued that for that. So I will try to continue with that. Is it? All right, no problem. اگه تو رو داشته باشم به هرچی میخوام میرسم، به هرچی میخوام میرسم. وقتی میاد صدای پاد از همه جاده ها میاد، انگار نه از یه شهر دور که از همه دنیا میاد. تا وقتی که در وا میشه لحظه دیدن میرسه، هرچی که جاده است رو زمین به سینه من میرسه. تو میگیره نفسم، اگه تو رو داشته باشم هرچی میخوام میرسم، به هرچی میخوام میرسم.
Thank you, Ali. It was so beautiful.
We are so sorry for this.
No, it was super beautiful. We take pride in the diverse student body of UMBC. UMBC has strong programs on language literacy and culture of different languages around the world. Now, we'll have a small talk on endangered language. I would like to welcome Dr. Renee Lambert-Brashear from Department of Modern Languages, Linguistics, and Intercultural Communications to speak on endangered language around the world. Give her a round of applause.
Bonsoir. Mon nom est Renée Lombard-Bretière et je suis professeure adjointe au département de langue moderne, linguistique et communication interculturelle. So as you may have guessed, French is my mother language. And I am a linguist. And most of the time when you say you're a linguist, people associate you as a polyglot, someone who speaks multiple languages. And this is not true, although most of the linguists I know speak more than one language. I speak three languages, basic communication and additional two. And in fact, over half of the population on the entire planet speaks more than one language. A 2006 study on global multilingualism estimates that about 80% of the world's population can communicate in at least a second language. So that leaves only 20% of the global population speaking only one language. Linguists are also often seen as grammarians, experts in knowing how to write and speak without mistakes, and again, this is not true. Linguists are concerned with how language actually does work and not with how it ought to work from a prescriptive point of view. So I'm a linguist, and I'm one of those people fascinated with the human faculty of language. All humans have language. And human language is so ubiquitous that it permeates everything in our experience. Each human language is a complex system of knowledge and abilities enabling speakers to communicate with each other. We use language to express inner thoughts and emotions, to make sense of the world around us, and to transmit knowledge. Language is made up of socially shared rules that tell the speakers of that language what words mean, how to make new words, how to put words together, and how to what word combinations are best in what situations. So it may come as a surprise to you to learn that no one really knows exactly how many languages are spoken in the world today. The most recent estimations suggest that the total is more than 7,000 languages. And there are several reasons for the lack of precision in evaluating the world's linguistic diversity. It may be that a few languages are likely to be discovered in those regions of the world still only partly explored, like the equatorial rainforests of South America, Africa, or New Guinea. Or that some languages are on the very verge of extinction, and in that survey, 43 languages were reported to only have one speaker left. Regardless, the impressive linguistic diversity represents the range of variations exhibited by human languages and is a good illustration of the creativity of the human mind. Each language represents a distinct mean of communication and a unique way of describing the cultural system of its speakers. For example, the life of the Nuer people of South Sudan is built around the herds, and prestige is measured by the quantity and quality of the cattle a man owns. The Nuer language speakers refer to their cattle according to the coloring and spotting patterns of their coats. And there are 12 separate words for the unique pattern groupings commonly referred to. You have 10 of these there. And people take the names of their favorite ox or cow and prefer to be greeted by their cattle names. Another example is the color categorization system of Hanuno, a Philippine language spoken in the southern part of the Mindoro Island. And this system contains only 4 terms: dark, light, fresh, and dry. And the system appears to have certain correlates with the external environment. Hanuno color terms do not segment the color spectrum in the same manner as Western color terms, and in fact incorporate additional sensory information based on the visible components of the natural environment. For example, the opposition between dryness and desiccation of plants, and freshness or wetness for fruits and vegetables. And the final example I'm going to present to you is from Arapaho, a Native American language from the Great Plains in the United States. And in the Arapaho kinship system, the same term of reference is used for father and father's brother, so the uncle, as well as mother and mother's mother, the aunt. And it means that the extension of the Arapaho kinship terms from biological parents to additional relatives is paralleled by the extension of behavior toward the fathers and mothers. And conversely, fathers and mothers have the same obligations toward their terminological sons and daughters. So these examples are among the several that shows the extraordinary richness of human languages. And the amount of information encoded in them and by them, may it be knowledge about culture, cultural practices, food, environment, health, and lifeways. 40% of the world's population have one of the most common 8 languages as a first language. These languages are Mandarin, Hindi, Spanish, English, Bengali, Portuguese, Arabic, and Russian. In contrast, by far, more than 4,000 languages are spoken by less than 2% of the world's population. And some of these only by a few hundred or a handful of people. These numbers show that half of the world's languages are threatened of extinction. So why do languages die? Common reasons in the past have been epidemic diseases, natural disasters like floods and droughts, or even warfare. But the most common reason during the 20th century is language shift. Language shift is the process by which a speech community in contact situation with another group gradually stops using their language in favor of the language of the other group. And this happens mostly because parents choose to transmit to their children the language that, in their view, will bring them the most success in life. Language shift is manifested as loss in number of speakers, level of proficiency, or range of use of the language. And such loss undermines the identity of the communities involved, as well as being a loss to humanity of the unique contribution of the knowledge and perspectives of these communities might otherwise bring. Endangered languages are not only found in remote areas in the mountains of Asia or in the jungle of South America. They are located everywhere, as you can see on the map. Languages are disappearing at an alarming rate. As communities lose their language, they often also lose parts of their cultural traditions which are tied to that language, such as songs, myths, and poetry that are not easily transferred to another language. So linguists are active in the preservation and maintenance of linguistic diversity. My main research focus as a linguist is on fieldwork-based documentation and description of poorly known languages. And even languages spoken by millions of speakers can be threatened by globalization and urbanization. As it is the case of Fon, a language of Benin spoken by more than 2 million speakers. I also work with the Inuits, an Algonquian community of northeastern Quebec and Labrador. And this language has 13,000 speakers scattered in several communities, and all speakers are bilingual in French and English. So language shift is happening. And I document the language of the Kuma, located in East Sepik province of Papua New Guinea. And, although this language has a small number of speakers, around only 3,000, it is less vulnerable because it is isolated from large societies, so no contact with dominant groups. And access to the community is by a 3-hour canoe ride from the major city. So I'll stop here. My time is up. Language is an expression of who we are as individuals, communities, and nations. So my final word will be, please transmit your mother tongue to your children. Merci. Merci.
Thank you, Dr. Lambert-Bradier, for that insightful presentation. Now we have Divya with a Kannada poetry up next.
Hello everybody, good evening. India has about 1652 languages, including national and regional, of which only 22 are national languages. And I represent from a state called Karnataka, which is in southern part of India. And the language that is spoken is called as Kannada. So I'll read a small poetry from one of the famous poets from Karnataka. This poem is basically about a boy who buys a small bugle, which is colorful, and he shows it around to his people in his village. And whenever someone asks for the bugle to play, but he refuses them in his ego, saying that I purchased it. And at the end, he loses that bugle, and so does his ego. That's what this poem is all about. ಬಣ್ಣದ ತಗಡಿನ ತುತ್ತೂರಿ ಕಾಸಿಗೆ ಕೊಂಡನು ಕಸ್ತೂರಿ ಸರಿಗಮ ಪದನಿಸ ಊದಿದನು ಸನಿದಪ ಮಗರಿಸ ಊದಿದನು ಬಣ್ಣದ ತಗಡಿನ ತುತ್ತೂರಿ ಕಾಸಿಗೆ ಕೊಂಡನು ಕಸ್ತೂರಿ ತನಗೆ ತುತ್ತೂರಿ ಇದೆ ಅಂದ ಬೇರಾಗಿರುವುದು ಇಲ್ಲೆಂದ ಕಸ್ತೂರಿ ನಡೆದನು ಬೀದಿಯಲಿ ಚಂಬದ ಕೋಳಿಯ ರೀತಿಯಲಿ ತುತ್ತೂರಿಯೂದುತ್ತ ಕೊಳೆದ ಬಳಿ ನಡೆದನು ಕಸ್ತೂರಿ ಸಂಜೆಯಲಿ ಜಾರಿತು ನೀರಿಗೆ ತುತ್ತೂರಿ ಗಂಟಲು ಕಟ್ಟಿದು ನೀರೂರಿ ಸರಿಗಮ ಊದಲು ನೋಡಿದನು ಗಗ ಗಗ ಸದ್ದನು ಮಾಡಿದನು ಬಣ್ಣವು ನೀರಿನ ಪಾಲಾಯಿತು ಬಣ್ಣದ ತುತ್ತೂರಿ ಬೋಳಾಯಿತು ಬಣ್ಣದ ತುತ್ತೂರಿ ಹಾಳಾಯಿತು ಜಂಬದ ಕೋಳಿಗೆ ಗೋಳಾಯಿತು.
Thank you, Divya. We have next a song by Mijan and Anamika. It's a Bengali song, and it tells about how Bengali feels about our culture. So let's go with it.
Hello everyone, I'm singing a Bengali song. It tells that why I speak in Bangla, and everything is related to Bangla. আমি বাংলায় গান গাই, আমি বাংলার গান গাই, আমি আমার আমিকে চিরদিন এই বাংলায় খুঁজে পাই। আমি বাংলায় গান গাই, আমি বাংলার গান গাই, আমি আমার আমিকে চিরদিন এই বাংলায় খুঁজে পাই। আমি বাংলায় দেখি স্বপ্ন, আমি বাংলায় বাঁধি সুর, আমি এই বাংলার মায়া ভরা পথে হেঁটেছি এতটা দূর। বাংলায় আমার জীবন আনন্দ, বাংলা প্রাণের সুর। আমি একবার দেখি, বারবার দেখি, দেখি বাংলার মুখ। আমি বাংলায় কথা কই, আমি বাংলার কথা কই, আমি বাংলায় হাসি বাংলায় মাতে উল্লাসে করি বাংলায় হাহাকার আমি সব দেখে শুনে খেপে গিয়ে করি বাংলায় চিৎকার বাংলায় আমার দীপ্ত স্লোগান ক্ষিপ্ত তীর ধনুক আমি একবার দেখি বারবার দেখি দেখি বাংলার মুখ আমি বাংলায় ভালোবাসি আমি বাংলাকে ভালোবাসি আমি তারই হাত ধরে সারা পৃথিবীর মানুষের কাছে আসি আমি যা কিছু মহান বরণ করেছি বিনম্র শ্রদ্ধায় মিশে 13 নদী 7 সাগরের জল গঙ্গায় পদ্মায় বাংলায় আমার তৃষ্ণার জল তৃপ্ত শেষ চুমুক আমি একবার দেখি বারবার দেখি দেখি বাংলার মুখ Thank you.
Thank you so much. One interesting fact, these two who song, they're actually husband and wife, and this song was like super nice for them. So we, oh yeah, so Nasreen and Ali, the Persian song, that was also a husband-wife combination. Yeah, so good thing happens in marriage. Anyway, so we are almost at the end. I would like to invite our president from Bangladesh Student Association, Riyadh, and he would give a concluding remark. And after that, I would like to welcome you guys to go to the back. There's on the pool tables. We have the banners that students signed and wrote in different language. They wrote wishes for a stranger. They wrote many things. There is also registration, for documentation purpose. Please leave your name and email address, and that will be all. Thank you. Let's welcome Riyadh. Thank you.
Hi audience, thank you all for participating in this event, and this is the first time we have organized International Mother Language Day on campus, and I hope you have enjoyed the evening with lovely performances. Mother language means a language that is dearest to our hearts, the language of our thoughts and emotion, and the language that represents an individual to the core. It is evident that 21st February is a red letter day in the history of Bangladesh. This was one of the rare instances in the world history where people fearlessly gave up their lives to uphold the dignity of our mother language, which is Bengali. So this celebration of International Mother Language Day reminds us of the importance of linguistic diversity and the human right to use one's own mother tongue, no matter how few speakers it might have, to be preserved and passed on to the future generations. So as Dr. René Lambert already mentioned about the language shift and globalizations, so we have to preserve the languages, whatever few speakers it might have. So last, we want to thank Mosaic Center for sponsoring the venue. Thanks to Graduate Student Association for providing us the fund to cover the food, t-shirt, and other expenses. We want to thank Dr. René Lambert and Omar Ka from Department of Modern Language, Linguistics, and Intercultural Communications for his insightful speech. And we want to thank Sri Lankan Student Association for helping us in our morning session where we gave away International Mother Language Day themed t-shirt. I want to thank all our performers who made this event lively, especially Gurpreet, who wrote a new song for us, and that was pretty awesome. It was only for this event only. And the architects who gave their immense effort to build such a nice replica of Shahid Minar. Special thanks to our Vice President, Tamid Abtai, for being proactive all the way through the event, from planning to education. We have a couple of more upcoming events throughout this semester. We will be doing a movie premiere of based on our Liberation War, which started from March 26th, and it is basically our Independence Day. The documentary is called Muktir Gam. So we will be posting the information about the venue of the movie premiere in our My UMBC group. And also we'll be celebrating Bengali New Year in April 14th. So I hope I'll see you all again in future. And thanks for coming. Thank you.